The number one reason I found that most people can't make the type of money they want to make in their business is because they don't look at the numbers. They're not strategic enough where they know, okay, these are the numbers that I need to have, or they don't reverse engineer their goals to say, okay, this is the number that I want to reach. Whatever number you're at right now, it could be 0 or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, doesn't matter, right? But let's say you want to add X amount of dollars to your revenue and you want to use it doing paid ads. But when people make that decision, they don't have anybody to brainstorm and say, okay, well, what does that actually look like? How do I do that? How do I add an extra 20K a month on top of my bottom line, or X amount of dollars using this paid ad strategy? So what I'm going to show you is, if you want to use paid ads and you say, most people when they come and they want to use it, they say I don't have the time, the energy, the know-how, I don't have the patience to learn it. So they'll come to our agency, and one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to break down the numbers. They'll say, okay, I want to make X amount of dollars per month, or I want to add X amount of dollars to our revenue. And we're going to break down the numbers and say, okay, well, let's look at a few things first. And the reason that this is important is because it's very hard to scale your business and generate revenue consistently if you don't have a system. You need a proven system and a strategy that works like clockwork in order for you to generate revenue. When I was struggling to make, and I was making my first few $100s per month, I was only making a couple $1,000s per month. The biggest challenge that I had was everything was too random in the business, right? And I'm gonna give you two sides of the story. So everything was super random in the business. So sometimes I worked on the business, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I did certain things that worked and the marketing worked and we got leads, and sometimes we didn't. There was dry spells, there was good times, there was bad times, but most of the time there was never any level of consistency. A lot of it was based on how I felt. It was based on my attitude. It was based on what was going on around me in my life. And all of that fluctuated the amount of impact and amount of revenue and clients that I had. On the flip side, let's say you're already generating X amount of dollars. You could be making 7 figures right now. It doesn't matter, right? But you're in a place where whatever you're doing is working for you right now, whatever that is. Like, I know people who work with our agency that they have generated their revenue through organic content. They have generated their revenue through live events or whatever, right? But now they're saying, okay, I want to on top of what we're already doing, I want to leverage this paid advertising because I know if we bring X amount of leads in, or we bring X amount of people through the door, that's going to convert into X amount of sales, an extra 10, 20, 30K a month of revenue. So they're willing to put the money down for advertising because they know they're going to get a multiple return in the end. But a lot of times it's just like I mentioned, they don't have the time, the energy, the effort, the money. Some people may not have the money to do it, or it just kind of depends, right? But if you are generating any kind of revenue, it's definitely going to be important to start running these advertisements, but you got to do it correctly if you want to make, let's say, like an extra 20K per month. Your closing percentage is, let's just say your closing percentage is, 1 out of 5, right? Let's say 1 out of 5 is your closing. Guess what? 1 out of 5 is your closing. You're speaking to 5 people a week. So at the end of a month is how much? How much is that? Let's just say it's 4 weeks in a month. You made $20,000, right? It's pretty dope. You got 5 leads. You utilize the 5 available hours you have in your business. Those 5 available hours you use to speak to 5 people converted into 1 out of 5. So you have a 20% conversion percentage from people who became leads into clients. And if you do that 4 weeks out of the year, you just got 4 weeks out of the month, you just got 4 clients. 4 clients at $5,000 is how much? Ding, 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 is $20,000. You just made $20,000 in additional revenue. This is why pricing is important. Now let's use the other example. The other example is, let's say you're selling something for $100 and you're spending that same amount of time contacting and interacting with people to sell a $100 thing. With those same percentages at the end of the month, how much you made? $400. I'm just going to let that sit. I'm going to let that sit with you for a second because I want you to see how important pricing is. Same amount of time, the same 20 hours per month is invested in the business. Entrepreneur A versus entrepreneur B, both spent $20. Both spent 20 hours in their business. Both spent 20 hours in their business doing the right things, because we can have a whole separate conversation about doing the actual right activities in your business. I was spending a lot of time on logos and colors, years in my website, and wasn't making any money because my time wasn't even allocated in the right place. So then the next question is, well, who's most going to want that resource, right? So then that's the next thing we're focused on. And then once we have that, okay, well, what's the messaging in the imagery that they're most going to be receptive to? A lot of this is dealing with experimentation and seeing what people are going to want, what people don't want. And then from there, you're going to get a certain amount of leads, a certain amount of opt-ins. People are going to click and go to a landing page. This landing page is where people are going to actually opt in. If this is making sense, because sometimes I might be going fast, but you could like rewatch this. We keeping this up, so I keep this up for you. Right? So if this makes sense, go ahead and put make sense in the chat, because this is very important to understand. If you don't understand this business model, or if you don't understand this strategy, you will not have a proven system that's going to generate you something like 20K a month. So what I'm teaching you is the proven system that works for a fact. Not just with us, but with we post, you follow me, you see me post testimonials all the time. This is the exact same process that I go through with all of our clients. So then they go to the landing page, they opt into the landing page. Once they opt into the landing page, you're going to have a certain percentage of leads. Now, I don't know what your closing percentage is or your converting percentage is. It depends on how long you've been in business, how well you know your product or service, how well you're able to explain it, how confident you are, how many like testimonials, how much proof you have. But everybody who offers a product and service, if you do a well enough job and you give the person that you're speaking to enough confidence, they'll be with it. But obviously, the more longer you're in business, the more successful you are, the more money you make. It is what it is. People like to do business with people that are already successful. It is what it is. So just realize that where you're at today and where you're going to be at in a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, people will want to do business with you more the longer you're in business, right? I'm not trying to just get anybody. I'm trying to get quality people that I know is really going to do the work, quality people that really want to take this serious, and I want to help. And I don't twist anybody's arm. I want people who already see the value. If I got to convince you how important marketing and advertising your business is, you're already not the right fit for me. Because my job is not to convince. I already know it works. People have been marketing and advertising their business for hundreds of years before me, and they're going to be doing it hundreds of years after me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that, we already know it's proven. We already know it works. And all of the biggest and most successful and best businesses market and advertise their business. They pay money to put in dollars to get a higher return back, to get the exposure or whatever they want. So we already know this works. So if I got to convince you of that, you got to get that belief first and then come back to me and say, all right, I know it works. It's just really about, let's see how we can make it work. Let's see, this is my situation. Okay, how can we make this work for my situation? Right? Okay, I like you. I rock with you. I want to work with you. I see that you have the expertise. Right? It's more about that conversation. It's not about whether it works or not. So those are the type of people that you want to find. And those are the type of people that we attract, with your ads. Now, with that being said, once you get the leads in, then it's about really offering them, for the people who are fit, offering them your product or service. And then you'll get a certain percentage of people that want to solve that problem. And if you do a good job for them, once they enroll and you actually start getting them results, not only are you going to get testimonials, not only are you going to get people that are happy, but you're going to get them staying longer with you. So I'm showing you this is how you make 6 figures and multiple 6 figures. This is how you make something like 20K a month, right? You got to have, so let's do a quick recap. Right, and then I'll give you some resources. One, you want to make sure that you have a high ticket offer. If you need help with that, just reach out to me. We'll figure it out for you. That's one. Then we're going to focus on who are we targeting? Where can we find these people? Then we're going to focus on the creative and the imagery and the copy of what we're saying. And then we do experimentation to attract those people and attract the most people based on what we're saying and who we're targeting and what we're showing. When those people become leads, Then we contact them. We have those conversations where you basically check the temperature of where people are at. Are they ready right now? Are they serious? Are these just people that's just kind of looking around, or are these people that they just looking for the right person to work with? They're looking for the right person to trust. They're looking for the person that they feel, maybe they've been burned a few times before by, other coaches or other service providers. And they're really just looking for somebody who does good business and that could really help them, and that they care more about a dollar just working with them, and they could get them results. You know what I'm saying? So you got people out here that's looking for it, but you got to make yourself available, and you got to be able to communicate to them in that way. And if you're able to do that, then you'll be able to get higher ticket clients. And if it's valuable, like we talked about earlier, it's going to be a no-brainer. All right.